Now I've got to the stage in the stair making that I'm going to start introducing the newel posts. Now for the beginner or somebody, this is just going to be a demonstration on basics in relation to the newel post, because it needs to be taken slowly. So we'll have an in-depth look at it probably at a further point down the line. So just the basic principles of what I do with the stair is, when it comes to the bottom newel, I'll keep the first rise in the centre of the newel post. So you'll see it there is 47 mil. And when I come up to the first floor or the landing, whatever the case may be, I keep the front of the rise to the back of the newel. I keep it back 74 mil and just allow the smallest amount there for the rise to sit in at the back of the newel post. That's what I have to do. Thereafter, I need, that there is what's called the nosing line. So it's the top of the riser, and the handrail height is measured from that point. So we'll measure from there, we use that line, we don't bother with this business out here, the nosing. So we measure from that line up vertically, and the minimum distance for handrail height on the climb now is 900. So in my case I'm going to make it 920 just to be just a little bit above that height. So that's what I'm doing. Just to show you what I've done to date, I have come back here. I've come back from the riser line here 47 mil to give me the shoulder line. So I'll have to come forward in on the newel post 47 mil. That gives me the shoulder line. I come down 40 mil and I get the actual tenon mark there, tenon shoulder, and I come up 40 mil and I'll get the limit of the tenon there. So that's the tenon itself. So that's the string part. Now when I go to the bases, the thread or the newel post comes in two parts. It comes in a base and it comes with a top. So you normally put them together. I'd always put them together to start with. Now with the top, what I like to do is this. I want to find out where the first thread is going to go and where the first rise is going to go. So I'll always start up at the top of the square. Now other people may be different. For the starting piece of handrail, what I normally do is I cut two little short bits and I show one going up the way, which is this one, this guy, and then the other one is coming down the way. It's just handy to have them. I normally like to have it, the handrail taken off in the centre of the square, what's called a square. So the square from here to here is 160 mil, and what I do is I take a section of handrail with the cut on it, put it down on a board, and I get the limits of it, or its height. So its angled height is 80 mil in this case. The square is 160, so that is exactly half the height of the square. So what I'll do is I'll come down 40 mil, and that'll be the top point of the handrail where it takes off up to the next level. So that'll be it there. Now, going back to my page here, if I stand the spindle up and I show it like so, what I've done, I'm just going to go back to the camera there and see if it's picking up the height. Okay, it's not going to pick up the height there. So we want to find this line here. And in order to do that, I'll put it on the floor now, you'll see it. Once I have the top point, I've come down 40 and I've come back. Once this guy goes on there, like so, you'll see that its position is exactly halfway on between the limits of the square on the post. Now, I've already marked a line, 47 mil forward, 47 mil forward, and I use my sliding bevel, my combination square to put 47 mil there. I've subtracted 47 mil off the string. I've now got to go forward on the newel post to get the same distance. So I'll use back to my pitch line, pitch angle. I've come across that. I've been using that now all the time. So there's my pitch angle. I'll run from that point right through the line there that you see. The intersection then is the top point of the handrail. So from there down to the top point here of the thread, which is right there at the top of the rise, whichever way we want to look at it, top of the rise effectively. That there, I measure down from the top point down to here, 920 millimeters. Now that sets me up. Once I square a line across there, the width of it is 28 mil, put on the line, the thickness, and all I have to do, Now when I have the height then, so I have the height here, I'll measure down 920, that'll give me the height to the top of the riser here. I'll add on the thickness of my thread, which is 30mm squared across, and you'll see that this line going down here is the first riser. From here down to here is going to be 179.3, which is the one we were working with all along, 179.3, and I'll measure, it's measured 920 down to that point. So all I have to do thereafter is put this over here onto my string, and I will line up the top line here of the thread with an extended line, which I've already rubbed out because I don't like making mistakes. So I'll just put that one there. There's a little line there that runs down just to catch the top of the string. And I'll transfer the mark there for the limit of the tenon on here, and I'll transfer the bottom point on here for the limit of the tenon. I've already got my floor line on it. Now the mortise, you'll see there, I have to mortise out that, and the mortise takes account of the margin of each side of the 40mm. So the thread itself, the string itself is 40mm, so the outside of the string is going to be here. So that's 27, that's 25, which is this thickness here, and when we have to allow for this distance here as well, this distance, which is 14mm, so we come out another 14 from that, and you'll be left with 27. So that distance there, when the string goes on, we'll have an equidistance there, 27, so it'll be right in the middle. So we're ready now to mortise that out. The depth in my case there is 47mm, thereabouts, so I'll mortise down 50mm 2 inches from that one. So that's the bottom one. Now we do exactly the same thing with the top one, except we're in reverse. So rather than showing you the marking out of that again, it's exactly the same procedure. I've just got to be careful if I'm going onto a landing. So in my case, here, I'm just going to show it to stay on camera, but this newel post would be up at the very top of this particular string. So just to show you what happens, I want to show the top of the base first, or top of the post, that's the base. So up here, I look again at where my handrail strikes. So in this case, I keep it as low as possible here. Just in my case, with the stair I'm doing at the moment, I'm getting a little bit caught for height because the rise is quite high. So in my case, I keep it low here, and I'll just pick a point on the corner there, and I'll send it up there. Now on the back end of it, I'm dealing with the second newel post, so the landing newel post. So I'm actually back there 74mm. So I'm back 74mm, and you'll see there, I hope on camera, that there's a line there coming through. So I've just, to get the handrail height on top, I've come down here low on the base, because I've already worked it out there that I want a landing handrail height of 1100. So I'm just tight because of the rise in this case. So once I find that point, again, straightforward again, is I'll join pitch line right through there, and where it intersects, bang, there we go, where it intersects, I will measure down 920mm, exactly the same thing again, 920mm, and I'll get that point there on my base of the newel. So that's a housing that's going to come out there to take the landing thread. That's the landing thread. I'll be rebating that there. So that's all going to be taken out. And I have to take out this here, because that's the last riser and thread before, or sorry, that's the second last riser and thread, and that will joint into the topped mortise at the very end. Now, as I said, this is just an introductory video on our clip on handrailing and the marking of the newel posts. I'll do it in depth further down the line, because it requires a bit more time to go through it in detail and to show it stage by stage. But what I'm doing is I'm applying what's on the drawing there in theory to the practice